So here's a short story about a husband who's finally had enough. He wants to divorce his wife after 26 years of marriage, most of which was pretty darn bad. And of course, during this marriage, he was always made out to be the bad guy, the idiot, the one that was always wrong no matter what it was. But now that he's done with her, look at the 180 in terms of her, how she gets one she knows is potentially over. And I thought we'd go over here making the point, guys, that don't wait 26 years in a miserable marriage to end things if you're that unhappy. You can try to work things out. They don't get out of there early on. And of course, it's amazing what they did when they realized they're in deep crap, they're going to be alone. Titled, I finally told my wife that I don't see a path forward. And a shout out to Mr. Arkansas for sending me the story. It says here, after many years of dissatisfaction, I, a 50-year-old male, finally told my wife, a 49-year-old female, that I don't see a path forward for us. It started 10 years ago. I'm in a 26-year marriage with the usual suspects, intimacy and money. Right there, meaning there is no intimacy, and obviously she's probably pissing away all the money. But of course, it wasn't those issues that broke me. It was her complete unwillingness to even accept that I had the right to feel the way I did, and that my feelings were invalid. Happens all the time. The husband is just being a jerk. He's insensitive. He's not caring about her side of the things, and he's just blown it out of proportion. That's what they do. And that behavior is not someone who loves you. So these discussions turned into fights where I had to defend my right to have these feelings over and over and over again. Very early after these issues started, I began asking for marital therapy. I could see the writing on the wall. I was getting very resentful and angry, and I knew where I was headed. And that was 10 years ago, and he stuck around for the kids. She flat out refused, time and time again. There'd be fights, and then she'd say, we just need to do better with each other. And I'd be dumbfounded, especially when we obviously couldn't figure out on our own. What she meant was, I, the wife, don't need to do better. You, the husband, need to do better. And oh yeah, shut the hell up and keep serving me, servant. When a wife refuses to go to therapy, when there's clear problems and you're repeatedly trying to work on things, and she's unreasonable and making you out to be the bad guy, gentlemen, there's no point in trying to salvage this relationship. I understand and have empathy. You got kids and you don't want to hurt the family, but those kids are seeing a shitty marriage, and they're going to think that's all life is, and they'll probably reenact that in life if you don't break up. Better to be broken up, divorced, and you get a second chance to have a normal life than be together with your wife and you're fighting all the time and it's ugly, because kids can tell. They can tell and there's no love there. And mark my words, one of them at least will be in a relationship like that one day. Finally, about 18 months ago, I flat out said to her, this isn't enough for me. She was appalled that I dare even threaten divorce, and then said marriage to me is forever. We had it out again. You guessed it. She still refused therapy. See? Because she figures, hey, I can just be a bitch and this guy will cave. Does she sound like she respects her guy? No, because he's been dealing with her bullshit for all these years. So at the start of all this, with no option but to suck it up or leave, with 2 young kids, I decided to suck it up. Smack! And make your life miserable. I worked on myself through therapy and medication and joy that comes from being a parent. I did my best to ignore the crap in our marriage. We were good co-parents and essentially roommates. That's most marriages, especially once kids are involved. To the outside world, we are golden. Good finances, great kids, happy in public. But inside, I was dying. Again, most marriages. Where all 4 of us are together, I'm content. I'm able to let the joys of my family life cover up the shit in our marriage. But it started to run out. I was snapping at my wife for no reason whatsoever. Well, actually, there was a lot of reason, dude. When we fight, and she'd deflect all blame and put it on me. Yeah, it sounds like such a happy situation. I get very angry. Suddenly my anger was the issue. Any problem we had is because my anger pushed her away. See, it's always the guy's fault. Why would I want to have SCX with someone who's angry with me? Mind you, when I was able to convince myself I was fine and put on a happy husband face for months and months at a time and create a truly delusional world in my head, did she treat me any differently? Of course not. I've known some marriages that divorced because of shit like this. Life's too short, guys. Your kids see this. They're going to think it's normal. I have somebody I'm very close to whose marriage sounds just like this till he finally had enough. And let me tell you, she did everything she could to make his life or the divorce process a living hell. But he's a happier man today. He just had to go through hell for a few years. And the kids are fine. Last summer, it got bad again. I basically said to her, we have to try therapy or it's over. Ooh. She said, if I go to therapy, you have to promise you won't leave me. Fine. I was like, I can't promise that. I don't know what the future holds. But if you go to therapy and try, it will be huge to me. So we started therapy around August. There you go. She started to realize there's a possibility this guy might leave me. And mind you guys, she doesn't care about him leaving because she loves him. Really. It's just that she doesn't want to have to go through the public, looking like not the perfect family on Facebook and have the finances disrupted and have that guy there. And probably part of her just like having a guy to push her around. Well, some of the therapy sessions seem to be good. Some of them were not. She's completely averse to being vulnerable. So I spent most of the sessions talking. During the time we've been in therapy, I just didn't see her being able to confront her issues. You mean be accountable? Women and accountability. She's either incapable or unwilling to ask herself why she feels and acts the way she does. Because then she has to accept and deal with issues and that she's an asshole. The last few weeks really finally broke me. It was at this time that I really realized I was masking my feelings about her because I knew she could never change. I did not want to admit that the marriage was a lost cause because it meant losing the only joy I had, being with my kids every day. Yeah, I can't begin to imagine what that would feel like. I'm not a parent. At least I hope I'm not a parent somewhere. But that would rip my heart out too. But you can't do this. When I told her last week I don't see a path forward, she freaked out. I spent the first 45 minutes of the conversation telling her to breathe because she went into uncontrollable adrenaline shakes. What a load of crap. She's doing that to get pity. And the Oscar goes to the bitch-ass wife here. When I looked up the best way to stop this, cold water on the face or feet, I offered to get it for her. Why? If you're done with her, you're done with her. Why are you freaking... What are you at the fucking salon? Hey, here's a warm towel. Or in this case, a cold towel. But of course, she refused. Even in a panic, whatever I say or recommend is wrong. Or she's simply too prideful to admit she needs help. Well, probably both. What a great girl. Finally, I grabbed a damn washcloth with cold water and put it on her head. There you go. Bitch, put this on. She stopped shaking in about 2 minutes. The conversation devolved into a combination of her begging me not to leave, to her blaming me for everything, to her guilting me about everything. So there's begging going on, but immediately she has to go back in the factory mode of blaming him for everything. Yeah, what a great way to convince him to stick around. But most of the time, I had to explain over and over again the reason I came to this decision. Smack! You don't need to explain multiple times. You say it one time. Because by him doing it multiple times and listening to her crying and shaking and putting a wet towel on her fucking head, that just tells her, oh, I just do enough of this shit, he's going to cave. One time you say, we're getting divorced. Or even not even explain at all, we're done. She thought things were fine because we were in therapy and not fighting. She keeps saying, I didn't know you felt this way. Oh my God. Her nose must have grown like fucking 3 feet like Pinocchio. She absolutely knew he wasn't happy. Come on here. She doesn't care. And I had to remind her over and over again, smack, you do not, that I've been asking for therapy for a decade. Conveniently, when I finally had enough, she offers to make changes and promise to do better so she can tell everybody he gave up on me, I wanted to try, which she has already told me repeatedly. See? That's what she'll do. Guaranteed she'll try to control the narrative and make this guy be the villain here. Well, I stated my boundaries, no physical contact, no saying I love yous, until we figure out how and when we will end this. I offered to sleep in a different room, but she said no. So I slept in our bed for the last 4 nights. Smack! You're still letting her run the show. This guy just doesn't understand. He has some power here. He wants to end it. That's the power. He can walk away. She's going to give a miserable divorce, but still he has power. She doesn't want the divorce. Go sleep in the other fucking room. Or better yet, make her go sleep in the other freaking room. He may have to drag her by her ankles. Get out of here. But, this is just showing her that she has the power. So I slept in our bed the last 4 nights. But today, everything went off the rails. Gee, shocker. She started talking about everything again and begging me to stay, and then arguing with my right to leave her and my decisions for it. I'm now in the spare bedroom because her begging me again, and more adrenaline shaking and tears, started to overwhelm my system. Well, okay, you're doing better. You're now in the spare bedroom. Of course, I want to comfort her. Of course, I want to say, okay, let's just try really, really hard this time. But when she left to get the kids from school, I took a deep breath, realized I was about to act as I always have, comfort her at all costs to me. And by the time she got back, I had moved on from that. In other words, he's come to realize, no, I should not be comforting her. It'll be insanely challenging to continue to live under the same roof with kids who will undoubtedly be stunned once we're ready to tell them, while not giving in and just saying, sure, let's try again. I don't want to just leave. I feel like my wife deserves my honesty and willingness to work through this slowly. Why? It's not going to work. Calmly, deliberately, so we can resolve this within the least amount of chaos, especially for the kids who are 11 and 13. We'll just see how that goes. Well, he's kind of back and forth here, but it sounds like he is ending it, but he's going to try to do it in the most chaotic way for the kids. And by the way, those kids at 11 and 13, that is a tough age because that is when the puberty, one's a teenager, one's close to being a teenager. I don't know if they're boys or girls or all girls. I hope, God, they're not all both girls. But the emotions going everywhere. He has to end it. End a fucking story. Now, to hopefully get a better deal with custody and everything, if he left, that could be seen in the eyes of the court, or depending on the judge, he's abandoning the family. He may have to stay there for a while, unfortunately, and live with a harpy, but there's strength in him. If he's been with this harpy for 26 years, he can do it for a year for the freaking divorce. But mark my words, this guy better control the narrative because she is going to do everything in her wicked power to make him out to be the villain. I tried. I went to the therapy, and also talk to the kids, no matter what, to protect the kids. I still love you. Your mom loves you, blah, blah, blah. It's just not working out. But those kids are old enough. I guarantee you they probably know and can tell. I have personal experience with people I know that went through the divorce. Bad one. Kind of like this. Bad situation. And guess what? When they revealed to the children what was going on, they knew. They knew it wasn't a good situation. They didn't even think they loved each other. Really. It'll be very interesting to see how those children, when they become adults, are like in future relationships. I hope it doesn't be like this, but who the hell knows? So anyhow, guys, it's amazing what guys will endure and for far too long. But what's amazing is when a guy's done, he's done. And look at the 180 she pulls, at least the begging and pleading and promising and all that. But she doesn't love him. It's not because of she loves him. She wants him to stay. It's because she wants to look good for the world, for Facebook, for Instagram, for her stupid friends, who, by the way, guarantee you they know. And by the way, if she's remotely attractive, she's probably getting it someplace else. You didn't see how long he's gone without any nookie, but I'm sure it's been a while. So bad situation. Good for him. It sounded like he's ending this on a divorce. Remember, guys, you have the power. Men just don't ever realize it. Women hold the keys to the bedroom. Men hold the keys to relationships. And we can also start the process of divorce. The problem is so many guys will just keep enduring misery just to, and they shouldn't. So good luck to him.